guys and geeks, welcome back to the Geek Critique Show. I'm Jen.
I'm Dakota.
And we are extremely late for our Doctor Who review because I had bronchitis. Meh.
That's pretty normal, though. I mean, not her having bronchitis, but, you know, us being a few days late for
yeah,
our Doctor
I
Who
act
review.
like it's like but Wednesday's really late for us, right?
Yeah, we usually film Monday or Tuesday and then get the footage out by Wednesday, Thursday. So hopefully we can get this out by Thursday. So,
Sorry.
anyway, guys, we're going to be talking all about Empress of Mars. We're nearing the end of the 10th series of Doctor Who, 10th season. What did you think of this episode, Jen?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah? Tell me
Yeah,
why.
I really enjoyed this. I don't know, it just felt complete. It didn't leave me with a ton of unanswered questions.
No, it did leave us with some, but we'll get to that later.
Some, but yeah, nothing like crazy though.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked the feel of it. It was good old fashioned family friendly fun.
I liked it. I wasn't crazy about it, but I liked a lot about what they did with the episode. I loved the costumes that they were able to come up with. I liked the use of the sets. It felt like you were underground. It felt like you were on Mars, and you didn't really question it when you were watching it. Mm-hmm. And it worked because it was kind of like a makeshift camp that they had set up, and it worked super well in that respect. As far as the overall story goes, I liked it. It was fun, but I don't think it's going to be like one of the memorable stories that we're going to be getting from this season.
I think what I liked the most about it was that it was very lighthearted.
Okay.
I mean, not all of it. Like, a lot of it was, like, there were some life or death situations. But overall, the tone to me was quite jovial and just, like, more relaxed, I guess. Less tense, like, the whole world is gonna end. All of society is gonna die. It's just these, like, couple of people. I liked the Doctor being in, like, for himself, a morally compromising position. It's not just, like, think of the most clever way to fight this and the quickest way to fight this. It was, I don't really know what to do right now.
What I did like about it is the fact that it kind of harkened back to the adventures that were had in the classic series of Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. The small, self-contained stories that the Doctor and his companion or companions found themselves in throughout most of the classic era. It's very much like this episode.
Yeah, and it's playing with time so much more than we've seen recently.
That's true.
You know, like these Victorian British soldiers on Mars fighting the Ice Warriors. I don't know, and then I liked the full circle of it. Like, you know, it was actually the Doctor and Bill who helped that guy write God Save the Queen on the thing. I liked the...
I kind of guessed that was going to happen. Like, it was going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, but...
Yeah, I guess, too, and I like those. I do.
Yeah.
I felt like it messed with time so much more in the ways that we haven't seen as much of this season.
Yeah, it wasn't timey-wimey.
Yeah, it wasn't like trying so hard. It was just, I don't know, I just liked the...
It was playing with time. And the idea of taking a soldier from the Victorian era, from South Africa, and putting them in a position where they still felt like they were conquerors, but they're no longer on Earth. They're on Mars now, and they're trying to stake a claim on whatever it is they're trying to stake a claim on Mars so that they can get gems and precious minerals and stuff like that. It's believable, it's silly, and it's a lot of fun.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
She couldn't have.
I also enjoyed which we haven't gotten a lot of this season, but the limited amount of social commentary. I feel like it was just that one part where the guy said to her, a woman being a police officer, that's comical. And her just saying, well, excuse that because your Victorian attitude because, you're Victorian. So I liked that. It's just, it was light. And that's what I mean by lighthearted. It wasn't so overwhelming with all of the different layers and everything it was trying to say. It was just Doctor Who fun.
And you think of where Bill comes from. She comes from a time period where people are very vocal about their opinions, especially about equality in both men and women and other races and stuff. You would assume that Bill would just jump down this guy's throat. Well, in my time and place, this is all acceptable and this is normal and you shouldn't laugh. But she didn't do that. Mm-hmm. And I gotta give her credit for that because, A, that's annoying. Watching people berate others for their warped thinking. Because it's warped. You can't argue with someone who's never even thought about that.
I mean, you can, but it's what
not
I signed on for when I just decided to watch Doctor Who.
Exactly.
It came up again when Araxa said, "Oh, you're a woman. I want to know what you think." You know, showing that the more civilized race does value the opinion of a woman. But again, one sentences. That's all we need. You know, we get the point. Mm-hmm. But then I thought it was just kind of ridiculous that Araxa said that and then literally just ignored what Bill had to say anyway. It didn't really...
Yeah, but in this, you also have to give Araxa credit because she was shot directly after Bill told her.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So that changes things quite a bit.
Yeah, I would probably forget what Bill said if I got shot. Anyway.
That's true. It's a good point.
So you liked how the story played out. Did you... Mm-hmm. Were there any characters that you didn't like, or characters that you loved to hate, or anything like that?
I actually really liked Neville Catchlove.
Because of his ridiculously evil mindset?
How he literally was, like, ready to start a war because she called him pink.
And he's just like, eye for an eye, but, like, that's not eye for an eye.
Yeah, that's... Well, no, he was talking about the guy who died, eye for an eye.
Oh, true. Okay.
Not like, you called me pink, so now I'm going to shoot you, eye for an eye. But I really liked how petty he was and how, especially I loved the part where he goes, "Don't belong, we're British, Mars is a part of the Empire now." It's like, wow, you're petty. Like,
yeah, well, you think about, like, that empirical mindset of, like, conquering other places and putting your stamp and your flag on a place and holding ownership. Like, it really is tangible, especially to something like an empire. You think if you put the Romans in the same position, they'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
Even, like, the simple things, like, I just liked the way that actor portrayed that type of character.
He was so ridiculous with, like, his, like, flowing hair and just, like, he played the smooth criminal.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because, like, when he goes and betrays the other guy, he's like...
Right.
And then looks at him, and it was just so ridiculous, and, like, his feathers get all ruffled. It's like a little peacock.
Yeah, and he was really, like, quick to anger, that guy.
Yeah, man. Simmer down.
I really liked the gun that the Ice Warriors had. Basically shoots people and they turn into big rubber balls.
I didn't like that.
I thought it was hilarious.
That is one critique I have of this episode, was that, like, a lot of the graphics and stuff didn't really land for me. Like, I was just kind of like, what is that? And then even the scene where Bill falls down the tunnel.
It's an appropriate thing that you said land, because...
Oh, yes. That
weirdest...
did not land. It was just an awkward, like, it was really cheaply done.
It was a weird transition. Like, why not just film Bill falling on her hands instead of just showing her plant on the floor, you know?
Yeah, or at least that looked, like, super awkward to me. And then very soon after that, we see, like, the rubber ball people.
Being from a background where I understand, like, how transitions work, there are a number of ways that they could have fixed that in post. If they had just laid out the sound effects so that it sounded like she landed before actually showing you a picture of her sprawled on the floor, your mind is easily capable of, like, just adjusting, like, oh, she fell before the camera pinpointed on her. But it was just awkward looking.
Yeah, so that was one thing that, like, kind of took me out a little bit. Honestly, that's such a little critique.
Early on in the episode, the Doctor actually does mention that not a lot makes sense here, because he's talking about how there's oxygen and all that. And that's a really good way to set the stage for crazy things to happen, and you don't question it. A lot of crazy things are happening here. A lot of strange things that aren't explainable are happening here. That's good story writing, because it doesn't negate silly things. It doesn't negate all the silly stuff like her weird transition of a fall. But it does excuse a lot of scientific fallacies, I guess.
Yeah,
possibilities.
And again, I'm not here to, like, nickel and dime them on that, but it's nice when you do get some, like, it's kind of recognized, you know, like, oh, what is that fire doing here? I love that Nardole, after literally being poisoned a couple of episodes before by walking out and just, like, not putting on a safety helmet, is the first to just be like, what?
I know. You think
like, come on, man, learn. You have cheap lungs.
But
Doctor cheap down on your lungs.
Yeah.
Don't mess with them.
What did you think of the Doctor and Bill going back and forth as far as, like, references to things that either the Doctor has or hasn't seen. And even Catchlove goes into it from...
Robinson Crusoe.
Right.
I also love that his name is Friday. I thought that was absolutely comical.
It's good. It's really good.
And yeah, no, I loved that. It kind of takes me back just to the simple fun of Doctor Who, like, where you have 10 quoting Lion King. And stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff in Doctor Who. I think it's hilarious, you know.
Right.
That the Doctor has seen movies that we know of and, you know, has stuff to say about them or just enjoys.
Well, the scene I'm thinking of with 10 is actually when he's in the episode with Shakespeare where he tells Martha, he's talking about Harry Potter. And he goes, this was before the 7th book had released, and he's talking about it as if he'd read it, and he's just like, oh, I cried. And you can believe that because he is a time traveler. He went into the future to grab Harry Potter, but he hasn't seen The Terminator. He hasn't seen The Thing. He hasn't watched the show The Vikings. Or Robinson Crusoe. He hasn't read Robinson Crusoe. It's ridiculous.
No, I think they were more talking to Bill at that part. I think the Doctor got that joke.
I don't think he did.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think he did, yeah.
Oh. Well, so the funniest thing to me...
I think that was the running gag of that because, like, he still didn't get the reference, and that's why at the end...
He had a reference for everyone. So the best part about it for us is I haven't seen Terminator and I haven't seen The Thing. The best part is that Dakota makes fun of me all the time because there are a lot of big movies that I haven't seen that he says I need to see.
Obviously.
But he's never seen Frozen, which I make fun of him for all the time. It's like, how have you not seen Frozen? We need to watch Frozen.
I know.
So,
everyone's seen Frozen.
Yeah, so at that part, it's like even the Doctor has seen Frozen and we were cracking up. So I love that kind of humor.
All right, so Jen, pull the popsicle stick out of the hat. Who is our random patron?
Tor Hylander.
That's an excellent name. I love that.
Yeah, we love it, man.
I really should watch Frozen.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I've been meaning
I'm not one to talk, but...
No, I mean, she hasn't seen Terminator. Before I met her, she hadn't even seen Star Wars, so...
I've come a long way.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
You've taken long strides and stuff.
I have. And then, too, I really liked when Bill was describing that scene in The Vikings, and then Friday shows up and he has an eye gouged out. I just love the cheese. It's the best.
It's corny and it's great, though. It's really great.
One last joke that I really liked was when the Doctor at the beginning at NASA joined in the countdown. He's like, sorry, I could never resist a countdown.
He got really excited.
Woo!
3, 2...
I thought it was great. Yeah, I thought overall that's what I loved about this episode. Just like the lighthearted tone.
Okay.
I thought it was awesome.
Cool. We got a little Easter egg, or a cameo rather, at the end when Alpha Centauri reaches out to the Ice Warriors, and Alpha Centauri is actually a creature from the Curse of Peladon, a classic story.
The mountain. Her Majesty here is going to be my safe conduct.
I shall summon assistance. Help! Guards! Help!
Stay there, Your Majesty.
And they actually use the same actress to voice it, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know how that got past, like, the first script, but it did. It made it all the way through, and that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So, for you classic fans out there, that was for you.
What did you think of the scene where the Colonel sacrifices himself?
Oh, I thought it was really powerful. I thought it was a really powerful moment. And it's a redeeming moment for the character because this is someone who is notorious for just deserting his post, especially when, like, he's really needed. So for him to basically give his life for the lives of his lessers. Mm-hmm. They are his lessers. Even though, I mean, everyone's equal, but he is the colonel, and he's leading all these people. He gave his life for everyone, and that's awesome. You give him a total pass for deserting. I think that was a really cool resolution for the story. What's great about this is that the Doctor didn't save the day in this one. It was actually...
Yeah, that's true.
It was actually the people in the actual episode doing what was right. Mm-hmm. For, like, the first time in ages. And they saved themselves, and that's super cool to see.
Yeah, that is really cool, actually. I hadn't even thought of it that way, but that's true. And what I loved about his character was a couple of times in the episode he talks about how he was really looking forward to a new start. And you could tell he wanted this to be his redemption. And he didn't care if it was the last few minutes of his life or the last thing he ever does just to redeem himself. because you could see the guilt on his face when he's exposed. You know, he called himself a coward. So to see that he isn't a lost cause, that he is redeemable. And then even for the Ice Warriors, who are notorious for having a questionable moral code, to see her just kind of going crazy at the beginning, but then calling this person who's a known deserter her friend, and rewarding him and redeeming him and offering him another shot at life. You know, it's really cool because there were no good or bad guys. Everybody was just kind of a little wrong, which I liked. I liked the balance of it.
And obviously, Mark Gatiss is a huge Who fan. He grew up on it alongside Stephen Moffat and all them. So you understand that this guy has a lot of reverence for the classic series, and it's cool that he is pushing that narrative a little further by giving more and more homages to that. We see the scene where everyone is getting resurrected, the Ice Warriors, and it looks a lot like Tomb of the Cybermen when they come out of their tombs and stuff. It wasn't like so much that it was a blatant copy of that either, which is awesome. I love the fact that they can homage to something without putting it right in your face. You know, you have to really think about these things to get to the bottom
Well,
of
as
it.
soon as you saw that, you could, you know, I've only seen that episode once before, and I instantly was like, oh man, that looks just like it. But it was just a glimpse.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the whole episode was an homage. It's just little snippets here and there.
Yeah.
The actual plot of that episode was very different.
Alright guys, what did you think of Empress of Mars by Mark Gatiss? I think through discussing it, I have a little better respect for it at this point than when I first watched it, I guess.
No, I really liked it from the start.
Yeah? Cool. Awesome. What do you guys think about Empress of Mars? Let us know in the comments below. And, you know, all the basic things. Like, subscribe, and if you are interested, you can go to our Patreon to help support us directly. And that's if you can, and that's a way that you can help support us directly, and we'd appreciate that. It also gives you the chance to have your name featured on our YouTube channel in every video, potentially.
Your naming, shining
Shining.
screen.
Alright guys, thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.